Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode, the kickoff episode of What's Going On in There. I'm Steven Tomlinson, and I'm here with my esteemed colleagues, Dave Hollister and Angie Russell. We are with Level 7 Facility Services, and we are coming to you live and in person from the Gwinnett Business RadioX studios on Pleasant Hill Road in Duluth, Georgia. And we have a very gracious and brave first guest with us today, Richard Dobbs. Do you go by Rich or Richard?
I go by Rich.
Restoration Rich, I'm told, with Capital Restoration Group.
Yes, sir. Restoration Rich.
Hey.
Always ready to go.
All right, fantastic. So we wanted to dive into a little bit of what the theme of the show is going to be about. This is the show where we ask the question, what's going on in there? Not in like a creepy neighbor who recognizes your new kitchen decor even though you've never invited them inside the house, but in an unassuming and unthreatening way, a curious way, metaphorically maybe even at times, what's going on in there? So we're going to give our guests an opportunity to talk about what goes on inside the walls of their business. So Dave, I understand that you've got some important things going on right now.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all have seen Dazed and Confused, but the most important thing going on in my life right now is widespread panic tickets. So I am in a queue. We're 3 minutes in, and I'm watching a little green line telling me whether or not I'm going to get the opportunity to buy tickets. So I hope everybody's doing well.
There's got to be a segue there somehow that we can work that into the theme of the show.
It's called priorities.
Right. It's what's going on over there. Dave has his queue pulled up, and this is very important. There's no question about that.
So I'm nervous.
Angie, nervous about the podcast, or are you nervous about the tickets?
The tickets is 3 minutes in.
I
Come on
understand.
now.
That is important. So Angie, do you ever drive around Atlanta or anywhere else, but certainly Atlanta, and you see all these buildings out there in the world, and you go, you wonder what's going on inside the buildings, and maybe there's some particular buildings that you think, not just, could Level 7 clean those buildings, but what are these buildings about? What's going on in there?
That's an interesting question, Steven. I actually got to drive around Atlanta for a couple hours yesterday looking for an event, the Contractor's Cocktail Bash. Atlanta is very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I saw many, many buildings. Let's see. I don't know if I have a good answer for that, Steven.
Well, it's kind of somewhat rhetorical, to be quite honest.
You're not
You did great.
You're not going to talk about getting turned around on the gravel road because you saw a big building, but you couldn't access it from the regular street, so you went down the gravel road.
Yeah.
So determined to get in. You're not going to talk about that? No, okay.
No, it was a little scary.
So the life of this podcast, we're going to need you to jump in, and anytime that there's dead air, and you have to come up with a good anecdote like that. There's got to be something that's like, as soon as it goes quiet, then it's going to be on you to bring like the energy and bring us all back to where we need to be.
Got it.
Yeah, just establishing roles here. It's important. So it looks like Dave's having some luck with the panic tickets.
Well,
Nice.
We'll see.
All right, Rich, thank you for joining us, and we're going to get through this thing, but we do want to get some input from you and find out a little bit more about Capital Restoration, and tell us your story. Sort of, how did you get to be with Capital Restoration? What exactly do you guys do?
Well, I think every young fellow probably growing up wants to be a football player and a restoration professional, right?
Absolutely.
That's how that works.
That's exactly right.
No, just how I got into restoration. I was with a company that did energy enhancements in buildings for a number of years. So doing that, lighting controls, HVAC, solar panels, roofs, that sort of thing. So I really learned a lot about buildings in general and how things worked and all that. And I was on a job site one day, and Casey Clark with Capital Restoration came up, and they were doing they're running in, like SWAT with the technicians and all the equipment and all that. I'm like, what is going on there? And these guys are really just squared away, uniform, very enthusiastic, smile on their face. And I went, I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
So that's how my role started with Capital Restoration. Casey's just done a heck of a job up until this point, 14 years, and we're just on a rocket ship right now.
Awesome.
So being director of business development, it's a lot of fun, 80 plus hours a week, a lot of work, but that's what's exciting, and that's what I really enjoyed when I heard about this podcast about what's going on in that building, because that's my world, and we're all passionate about it, and I'm very confident that our company can do better than the next guy. So I'm always thinking those people need us, and I always tell Mike back there, somebody within 3 feet of me is going to get my business card. So that's kind of how we rock and roll.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's how I met Rich.
Yes, you bet. With Angie, I just pretty much do what she tells me to do. And we're meeting here today, and I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yeah,
there you go. Good.
You bet.
Keep you in order. That's good. Well, I was going to ask. So, how have you guys? I know y'all have done some networking stuff together, and obviously operate in sort of similar worlds.
I think our first meeting was at BOMA a couple of years ago. We had lunch together, and Angie's the type of person that once you meet her, you just you don't forget her. So we had a nice lunch, and then we reconnected with the contractors' connections and closers, and then just a lot of good synergy. A lot of the same building, and more importantly, a lot of the same values, work ethic, get after it. Don't take no for an answer. A lot of that in common. That's the main thing that really, drew me to Angie, and just and of course level 7. You guys got tremendous amount of integrity. So capital restoration. That's what we're about as well.
Fantastic.
So that's the short version, I think.
No, I like that. That's good. And ultimately, with the theme of this show, I think the thought process is we would like to discuss, to some extent, like literally what physically happens inside of a building, but like in our case, that's a pretty boring conversation. I mean, it's like the only thing that I can think of that's interesting about our office is that we have a herd of feral cats that lives around outside. Mysterious herd of feral cats, but other than that, I mean, it's a pretty standard office setting with a little storage in the back, and it's world headquarters to us. But I have no idea where capital restoration is physically located.
Yeah, so just real quick, close to 15 years now, Marietta. So everybody knows where the big chicken. I mean, if you're here in Atlanta,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, if you don't, you need to go there and experience the big chicken.
Yes, sir.
But we're about 4 miles north of there, and so Capital Restoration, we're a licensed general contractor, and we specialize in emergency services, water, fire, mold. We do some COVID cleaning, so we can take care of your needs as far as the mitigation and the rebuild. And I think what customers really enjoy working with us is because they are part of the process. And what I mean by that is when there's a loss, a pipe burst, etc. So it's just mayhem. It's an emergency. Okay? It's not pleasant, stressful. Okay, so you have to be wired a little weird to be in this business. I sleep like 5 hours a night. This is the way it works. So when we come on the scene, we mitigate the issue, stabilize it, and then we call a timeout, and then we get the customers involved and say, okay, this is, based on our experience, what we've seen and the moisture readings and all this is our next step. How does that line up with you? How does that line up with your budget? Because we do not want to be on the hot seat, in a couple of days. What did you guys do? So we're very, very keen on getting the customer right there at that time to get everybody singing out of the same songbook. And then the follow-up, the Matterport, we send videos, daily. The customer service, we over-communicate until they cry, "Uncle." Yeah. And so that's really what separates us. And then Casey, the president, he'll be on site as well with emergency. I'll be on site.
Yep.
So everybody's in it to win it. The more difficult the emergency, I think, the better we are.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're problem solvers. We're just problem solvers, 100%.
Well, I would imagine when you're walking people through that kind of stress and that sort of headache when there's been a disaster, it takes a personal touch.
It does. It definitely does. From our technicians, they're tremendous. We take care of those guys. Casey and I, we always say, he and I can get the first job, but the technicians and everybody, sustains the business. So we take care of those guys immensely. But you're right. It does. You don't want to say too much. You don't want to say too little. You just want to listen a lot.
Right.
And just be very in tune to what's going on at that time. Yeah, a lot of eyes on a project.
Well, I know you guys have a
Yeah.
terrific reputation.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, appreciate that.
absolutely.
We strive every day to keep that reputation up. Yep.
So you guys have been involved with the Gwinnett Chamber for some time, and if I'm not mistaken, is that right? Yeah.
Well, no, actually, we joined this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, joined this year, and Miss Angie brought me in.
Oh, good.
And, oh, yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah,
Hey.
she did. She did. It's like, you'd be perfect for the chamber. And I'm like, okay, tell me where to sign. I'm rocking and rolling. Let's go. So, no, it's been exceeded my expectations thus far.
Yep.
And it's only been a couple months.
Yep.
It's tremendous.
It's been a really impactful on our business for sure. We love
Good.
being involved with the chamber and getting to meet folks like you. How did COVID affect y'all's business?
Well, what we did, so in March, late March, Casey and I and the executive team, we just got together. What are we going to do? And everybody knew what the answer was. We're going to take care of our customers. We're not going to tuck tail and run.
Right.
We're going to learn about this. I mean, nobody really knew what a COVID was, right? Much less how to clean it. So we got educated very quickly, certified, and that year was tremendous because we were able to reach out to our current customers boldly, very confidently, and say, we have you covered, and this is how, and this is what we're going to charge you per square foot for a preventive clean, and then if you have a confirmed clean, we'll have this ready to go. So it really put a lot of people at ease doing that, and it just showed just our servant attitude across the company. Hey, we're here for you guys, and oh yeah, we suited up with hazmat suits and had said a few prayers and went after it.
Angie's got a hazmat suit.
I do.
She actually has it on in studio right now. You can't see. It's a good look.
I like the helmet, by the way, too. That's good.
Thanks.
It's hard to hear through her gas mask.
Yeah,
Dave, how are those panic tickets coming
I was
over
just
there?
going to ask that.
I was too. What row?
It's refreshing. I don't understand what's going on here, but it's kind of frustrating.
You mean the browser is not the process is
Oh, it's not
refreshing.
refreshing. No,
It's
it's
not
not
refreshing
refreshing
to
at
go
all.
through trying to buy panic tickets. So where do we go from here, guys? What are we going to do with this show? So this is our very first episode, and we're just the sky's the limit. It's clay in our hands now. What are next steps for what's going on in there?
Angie?
Okay. How about I jump in?
Yes, please do.
I'm never lost for words. So how about I jump in? I want to learn a little bit more about Level 7 because, I mean, look, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I mean, you got some incredible references. So I'd like to hear about Level 7 and, how'd you get into all these different stadiums and these huge buildings?
Since you asked, Rich.
Oh, Steven's got a long story. You just opened up a book.
Yeah. How much time you got? Well, thanks for throwing that out there. But we are, obviously a commercial industrial cleaning company. I think most of us that are going to be people that are going to be listening to this podcast probably have some awareness of us. For those that don't, we've been around about 10 years. We specialize in commercial and industrial cleaning, janitorial services, and anything that falls under the sort of the general commercial cleaning umbrella, and that could be 1,000 different things, as you all know. We've tried to learn how to say no to some things and whittled it down a little bit. But we have gotten lucky and made some great relationships with some recognizable customers. And yeah, Angie's out there doing her thing and bringing in new business all the time. Just circling back to the Gwinnett Chamber, they need to stroke us a check for all this promotional talk. But get some free sponsorships out of this or something.
So we'll call Nick.
Yeah.
I'll call Nick for you.
Nick Casino.
I want Angie to talk a little bit about because I mean there's no like medium button on Angie. She's 100%. So how do you get all this energy and where's it come from and tell me what you kind of do day to day because I mean I see it from time to time but
I do have a lot of energy. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Especially when I'm with you. Like, you bring it out in me. You really do. Because you have a lot of energy, too.
Yeah, maybe a little too much, yeah. I was that kid. It's like, he's a hyper boy. He's a hyper boy.
That's good.
Rich called me this morning. He had already gone to, like, 7 a.m. breakfast. He'd run, like, 3 miles. I was just waking up.
Yeah. Well, it's that 4 hour sleep, and but
pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, so you're in all seriousness. No, I mean, Angie, I mean, you're getting after it. Every time that we talk, it seems like you're meeting with a VP, CEO. My gosh, that's pretty impressive. So, just getting in front of those guys, says a lot about your integrity and your value message, to the customer, because these are not all teed up. So tell me a little bit about that.
I think everything is about, business is all about relationships. So, just being what you see is what you get. And I just try to keep good relationships and keep up with all my clients and prospects and just run with it. It comes pretty natural, so.
Angie's never met a stranger, as you probably know very well. So
true.
Yep. It goes a long way.
Yeah,
for sure. Dave, how are your painting tickets? One, I see a spinny wheel. It's not looking good.
I've been looking at a spinning wheel for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then two.
It's still refreshing.
We do need to talk about. We are not officially a bilingual company, but there's
más o menos.
We do have a fluent Spanish speaker here.
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean,
pero yo puedo hablar español poquito.
Sí. Yeah, sí. That was actually English C, S-E-E. Here we go. Now we're talking. Ooh la la.
I'm dancing.
Yeah.
It's not a good look either.
Oh, come on now.
Maybe we should call it a wrap.
Yeah, and that's where the plane flew in the mountain. Thank you. Perfect. That is good. So we're going to come back and we're going to ask the metaphorical question, what's going on in there, time and time again. So once a month, I think, is our planned time to do this. Rich, you may have earned a spot as like a permanent guest at the table.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. My gosh. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
Appreciate the invite.
I knew you guys would like Rich.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of good things about Rich. Restoration Rich.
Yeah,
Rich. Really appreciate you joining us.
Well, thank you so much. Well, and then again, like I said, I wouldn't be here without Miss Angie Russell.
Absolutely.
So she's the
one and only.
Yeah, she's the boss.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, tell us really quickly, what's who's an ideal prospect or a good customer for you? Who would use your services?
Well, yeah. So it's kind of a threefold type of answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a list. Okay.
Yeah.
So multifamily is tremendous. Luxury condos, wonderful. Commercial real estate buildings, outstanding. College universities, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a very, very strong residential side. So we treat. That's what's really fantastic about what I think about Capital, because goodness, I mean, we're here to serve and help people, right? So on the residential side, remember, a few months ago when all the rain and the trees were falling down in Buckhead and all that. So we are right there. I mean, we would get a 160-ton crane, 150-foot boom, and we're taking trees off of roofs and all that. So, and when we say that we're in Cobb County, we're protector-owned, Georgia. We hire folks out of the state universities of Georgia, the USG. Very, very important to us. We as owner operators, so we don't take that lightly.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can help the residents as well, it's just icing on the cake. And then also too, emergency response. I mean, right now we have over 100+ jobs in Texas. We have 50+ jobs in Louisiana. So yeah, if you ever want to jump in the truck with me and put up like a ton of granola bars in water and get off the grid for a while and see some devastation, I'm always looking for a co-pilot. Let's go.
There you go. There you go. So
Yeah.
y'all have a big footprint. That's
We do, yeah, from Texas all the way to North Carolina.
Wow.
We do, yeah. That's our footprint, and then 200 miles a radius around Atlanta is really where we shine. And
Yeah.
then if a customer, commercial real estate company wants us to go to Florida to look at property, or hey, I see it, we tend to send out emails about storms and all that. Hey, this we're going to be here. Let me know if I can work on your property. So we're just really communicating. So yeah.
That's cool.
So we got you covered, man.
Yeah. No,
Hopefully nothing ever happens to anybody.
Right.
We don't want that. But if we can help, hey, we're here to serve.
there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you
Yeah.
go. I would imagine responsiveness is probably one of y'all's.
No, it is, yeah. So we have 20 trucks riding around Atlanta, so we can be on property easily within 1 hour, a lot of times less. And we have an app that customers can download, and all some other some neat goodies. So yeah, you bet.
That's
It's,
cool.
It's fun.
It's very cool.
Fun to be on a rocket ship.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, we've enjoyed getting to know you, and
Yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah. So
Thanks for Angie. Thanks
absolutely.
for Angie for inviting everybody,
Yes.
coordinating
Absolutely.
coordinating all this.
Angie's the glue. Thank you very much
Yes.
for putting it all together.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, we'll be back in a month to do another episode of What's Going On in There, presented by Level 7 Facility Services. Please be sure to join us for the live broadcast right here on Gwinnett Business Radio X. If you missed the live broadcast, no worries. You can enjoy the show anytime by visiting businessradiox.com, or you can go to our website, www.l7fs.com, as in Level 7 Facility Services. If you go to the Business Radio X website, you click on What's Going On in There, and you can listen to this thing over and over and over again and never get tired of it. I'm afraid we have bad news about Dave's tickets, but well, there will be other shows.
Well,
There will be other shows.
I've seen them before.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Disney on Ice is going on right now.
One extreme to the other. I like that.
I don't think we're on there yet, but eventually the program is also going to be available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy your favorite podcasts. So please be sure to subscribe to our show so you don't miss any of our future episodes. For my co-hosts, Angie Russell, Dave Hollister, and our guest, Restoration Rich Dobbs, I'm Steven Tomlinson with Level 7 Facility Services, and you've been listening to What's Going On in There on Business Radio X.